Hello and welcome to News Central TV. I'm Darshan Usman. The top stories at this hour. Nigeria's Senate passes vote of confidence in service chief. Shops and goods destroyed in Lagos community gas explosion. Senegal's authorities crack down on opposition protests. Details of these stories and more shortly. Now we begin in the west of the continent, where tragedy struck Lagos, southwest region of Nigeria, late Tuesday night as a gas tanker explosion wreaked havoc along the Agbado Road in the Toyin area of Ifakoijai local government area. Now, according to Lagos State Coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency, Ibrahim Farinloye, the explosion occurred when the tanker collided with an electric pole, triggering a spark. He noted that emergency services, including the Lagos State Fire Services and NEMA, responded swiftly and worked together to bring the situation under control. Farinloye added that no lives were lost in the incident, but several shops bore the brunt of the explosion. The aftermath of the explosion serves as a stark reminder of the need for heightened safety measures, particularly in handling hazardous materials. Plans are now underway for the establishment of a technology, research and development institute under the Nigerian Army Defense Industrial Corporation of Nigeria. Now, when established, the institute will be responsible for the production and refurbishment of arms and ammunition for the use of troops in Nigeria. News Central's Chizoba Anyonwe tells us more.
DICON is an arm of the Nigerian Army saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that certain arms and ammunition, including vehicles used in combating crime, are manufactured locally, yet meeting the necessary standard. The beauty of this is that youths who have been caught in the production of these small arms without any license would likely be taken off the streets and properly engaged for the sanity of our society and national security. This was made known by the Director General of the Nigerian Army Defense Industrial Corporation of Nigeria when he paid a courtesy call on the General Officer Commanding 3 Armored Division, Maxwell Kobe Cantonment, Rukuba.
On whatever terms, if you want to come and work with us, we'll give you a platform to work with us. If you want to share your ideas with us, but we'll engage them so positively so we can take them out from the wrong part of the society to the right part of the society. So that is already being taken care of. So as soon as the board sits, as soon as possible, and they approve that innovation, we intend to that cell to run. And so that will create the options to absorb most of these people who, when you make them pass through the legal processes, if it is so decided and they are free, we can take them and absorb them technically because they know a lot and we intend to tap from them.
And if truly the institution of a military industrial complex is the way forward for developing countries in the areas of military hardware in combating criminality, then there must be partnership among the different fields of the Nigerian Army.
Mango and Bokos local government areas, we're able to recover even locally fabricated mortars. Locally fabricated mortars, we have submachine guns, we have fabricated AK-47 rifles that fire 7.62 millimeter NATO. And some of these guys are in custody. Yes, they will go through the legal process, but can we put in research and development to see how we can turn these potentials to something that is positive for national security?
Established in 1964, Major General Edet is the 24th Director General of DICON, assuming command in July 2023 to further drive the corporation to achieving its mandate more efficiently. In Jos for News Central, I am Chizoba Anyonwe.
In the meantime, the federal government says it will commence the Ulaku initiative, a large-scale resettlement program to address the root causes of incessant clashes between farmers and herders in various flashpoints nationwide. Bulaku, also called the Fulani Code of Conduct, is an integral cultural and ethical value system specific to the Fulani. The farmer-herder crisis, more pronounced in the north-central, has lingered for over 2 decades, claiming over 60,000 lives since 2001. The program will initially focus on 7 states disproportionately affected by farmers-herders conflicts. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the Media and Communications to the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha, on Tuesday, he said these states included Sokoto, Kebbi, Benue, Katsina, Zamfara, Niger, and Kaduna states. The statement was titled Bulaku, initiative set for kickoff as VP or Vice President Shatima inaugurates implementation committee. Nigerian Senate has tasked security agencies to share intelligence information among the services in order to improve collaboration aimed at ending the menace of insecurity in the country. Now, this was after an extensive deliberation with heads of security, intelligence, finance, and paramilitary agencies at the Senate, which lasted for well over 9 hours. Amading Uyi reports. We'll bring you that report while the news continues. Now, moving away from that, in the meantime, explosive revelations emerged on Tuesday as former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, testified about a staggering $6.2 million transaction involving the Central Bank of Nigeria. Mustafa, appearing as the 4th prosecution witness in the ongoing trial of former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, made shocking allegations before the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Maitama, Abuja. Now, he revealed that in February 2023, $6.2 million was released from the central bank using a forged document purportedly authorized by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. He noted that neither of the documents came from the president or his office, as the terms used in the alleged correspondence do not align with standard government procedures. Mustafa emphasized that during his tenure as SGF, he never encountered such documents and refuted any involvement in the transaction. Workers from Nigeria's Trade Union Congress have given the nation's Food and Drug Administration agency a 2-week ultimatum to reverse the ban on sale of alcoholic drinks and spirits in sachets and PET bottles. Now, this was as they took to the streets of Abuja, urging the agency to reverse the ban, which they say has left thousands of citizens jobless, increasing the hardship being faced in the country. Amading Uyi has the report.
The protesters had converged on the headquarters of Nigeria's Food and Drug Regulation Agency, widely known as NAFDAC. Many of them converged a few meters away from the facility in protest over the recent decision by the agency, which had placed a ban on the sale of alcoholic beverages in sachets and PET bottles, claiming it is being exposed to minors.
We are here for them to revert that. They should follow queue. As cigarette smokers, they put the advert there. If they close the chassis production, TUC is losing over 500,000 workers across the country.
Yes.
We are here not because we want to stage a fight with NAFDAC, but to tell them that the decision that was recently taken by banning the sachet and PET bottle alcoholic beverages is what we are kicking against.
They urged officials to withdraw the ban or face the consequences from workers.
All workers in Nigeria have over 10,000 dependents, if you calculate it very well. And when they are out of job, that means over 10,000 people around them or their society or community will also go hungry or go begging.
That singular policy has now thrown hundreds of thousands of Nigerians out of job. And like it used to say, if we are not able to create jobs, why are we taking the few ones that are available? We are saying no to this.
They urged officials to withdraw the ban, else face the consequences.
We are saying, please save our jobs. Thousands are out of job as I'm talking to you, and we have been crying all this while that the Director General should rescind in her decision.
We also wish to warn that this is a peaceful protest. If nothing is done within a reasonable time, we will go back to the drawing board, we will mobilize, and we will come back. But this time around, we will ensure that all offices of NAFDAC nationwide do not work. Because you can't take food out of my table and expect that I will allow you to continue to work.
Everybody know the economic situation. They better withdraw that bill from National Assembly. If not, we will not agree. And that's why we are here. I want to tell the Director General of NAFDAC to kindly do herself a favor to withdraw that bill from forever.
The protest then continued to the National Assembly, where the protesting workers submitted a letter to the leaders of parliament. Officials that received them both from NAFDAC and the parliament assured that their grievances will be looked into.
I have noted your grievances. The Director General is not around now. She's on official assignment, but I assure you, according to laid down rules, I'm going to take the protest letter, which I'll pass on to her.
I want to encourage you, embrace dialogue, which the House is always happy to facilitate. Embrace dialogue towards finding a resolution that is in the best interest of Nigerians.
In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
In the meantime, the Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria have issued a firm ultimatum threatening to withdraw their services if the federal government fails to uphold agreements made back in 2020. The association demands immediate implementation of promised financial support palliatives for bakers, especially those hit hardest by the COVID-19 pandemic. In a statement read by the Kogi State Chairman of the association, Chief Gabriel Adeniyi, the AMCON President Alhaji Mansur Umar disclosed that the numerous increase in the prices of baking materials, subsidy removal, and forex deregulation have pushed their members to the brink. He noted that multiple taxations at various government levels and the lack of support for local production also worsened their plight. Among their demands, the association calls for the liberalization of flour and sugar importation, reduction of import duties on major baking materials, and provision of concessionary forex exchange to stakeholders. Nigeria's economic growth has worsened in the past few years, leaving many Nigerians worried as they cope with the challenging times. Civil society organizations in Nigeria at a press conference in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, said the severe economic challenges has called for concerted efforts to fathom what needs to be done to mitigate the challenging times. News Central's Omolola Ololade has more.
Stalled per capita growth, poverty and high food insecurity have exacerbated the ongoing cost of living crisis in Nigeria, according to the International Monetary Fund. The present economic difficulties is becoming increasingly worrisome for many Nigerians as they struggle with its challenges. It is on this premise that civil society organizations such as the Youth Bureau Coalition of Civil Society and socio-economic stakeholders created an opportunity for government and the people to dialogue in order to help mitigate the effect of the present socio-economic realities of the people.
A lot of data were collected here today to further what they have been doing in terms of civic engagement and educating the people. That's a good one. And that is the focus of this exercise.
It is undoubtedly known that the state plays a vital role in the economic emancipation of the country. Hence, the decision by the Lagos state government to help ease some of these economic difficulties faced by the people.
We are aware that everywhere there is hunger, everywhere there is need to take care of Lagosians.
We are going to use civil society organizations. We are going to use community development associations, religious organizations, ethnic group associations, people living with a disability. We are going to use all of them so that we know that they are the people who know the ones who cannot feed themselves among them.
Present at the dialogue meeting were stakeholders from different strata of the economy who narrated their ordeal during this hard time as they call on the government to help provide solutions to their yearnings.
You know, when you look at everything that is happening in the country, the physically challenged are the casualty of it. What do I mean? When you talk about feeding, when you talk about housing, employment, all sorts.
And even those that are having access to their direct customers, you find that before they get to their various places, taxes, tolls, and all of it, not even tolls, people, illegal collections from people that say they are disguising, they are working for government, they are there exploiting them.
At the heart of this conversation is a call on the government at all levels to intervene in the immediate yearnings of the people, especially in the area of food supply and transportation. In Lagos, for News Central, Omolola Ololade.
Well, thank you, Amolola, for that report. Now, up next, we actually have live pictures coming in from Yenagua, the capital of Bayelsa State. And for those who actually have no idea, it's the swearing in or the inauguration of the governor, Governor Duye Diri, and his deputy governor for the second term in office. It has actually commenced at the moment, and we actually have our correspondent Austin Azu on ground to give us pictures and also, do the needful on during this, inauguration. And we also have some dignitaries who are already in attendance. You can tell or you can see from the live pictures on your screen there that we have the former president of Nigeria talking about Goodluck Jonathan and his wife, Patience Jonathan, there to felicitate with the governor and also his deputy. It promises to be a very, very wonderful occasion. We did speak to our correspondent earlier who actually said that the residents of Bayelsa State are extremely excited, at the inauguration because they feel like their mandate has actually been given to them. So they're excited at the fact that Governor Duye Diri has been re-elected for the second term, and they cannot wait for the inauguration to commence, the swearing in to commence, so that he can kick off, his duties of governing the state. Okay. All right. So just like we said earlier, we have Goodluck Jonathan, the former president, sitting there with his wife, Patience Jonathan, and, they're there to felicitate with him on this joyous occasion. And we're expecting more dignitaries actually coming in, hopefully. Okay, we're expecting so many dignitaries coming in, and we can actually see them. Okay, we actually wish that we could see who the former president is actually speaking to, but I'm sure in time we'll actually get a glimpse of who the person is. We're actually expecting traditional rulers. You can see from the sitting position there close to the president, they're expecting the a traditional ruler, that's the chief Olisa, and so many other dignitaries to be in attendance, hopefully to come. All right, so when we come back, I'm definitely sure that our correspondent will bring us more details of the inauguration. All right, now, but then joining me to give us an update on the aftermath of the inferno that actually happened in the Ifako-Ijaye local government area is News Central correspondent Omolola Ololade. Hello, Omolola. Thank you so much for joining me. Please, can you give us an update of what actually happened? Because according to reports, we heard that a truck actually hit a pole, and that was the reason why, it sparked and an explosion occurred. Just give us an update of what actually happened.
Good afternoon, Dashin. Yeah, so it's not what you just said, but we just got here and we found out that it was caused by a gas. A gas who was trying to supply gas for the people here, because there's a major shop here that sells gas, and I heard that it has been there for a while now. And so I think the guy was trying to restock, and then something happened, it sparked, and then it caused an explosion.
All right, Omolola, but we heard that there were no casualties. Can you tell us more about that?
Okay, yes, there were no casualties. Nobody was injured. Nobody died. But it was just about loss. A lot of properties were lost in this fire. We spoke to some people earlier. We spoke to the owner of the properties, and the man said about 5 shops, were burnt down. And these shops, they had a lot of goods in them. We had provision store. We had someone who sells cars, but I think hopefully none of the cars were burnt down, because I think she didn't have any in stock at the time. We had people who sell different things, and everything, especially the provision store, was burnt down. And we have. So I think I'm going to bring someone now who was on ground yesterday, who'll be able to shed more light on what's going on.
All right, Omolola, yes, please go ahead and do that. But before he actually comes, while you're actually telling us the extent of the damage, that was actually done in some of these shops, is quite a sad one. What about response? That's response services. Talking about firefighters. What do you know about, how the emergency response team attacked the situation?
Okay, so the response from the Lagos State Fire Services was quite swift from what we gathered here, because there is another filling station just right opposite where the fire happened, just about 2 or 3 houses away. So it could have really gone bad if the fire services were not here to stop it. It would have really escalated. This whole street might have been burned down and erased, because there's just a filling station there. And I heard that they just stocked one of their gas plants there.
Okay, so please go ahead and speak to one of the witnesses. Let's hear what he has to say.
All right, yeah. So please, you were here on ground yesterday. Can you tell us exactly what happened?
Yeah, good afternoon, my people. Wow, yesterday was terrible. Yesterday night, that kind after 9:30 evening. Anyway, we thank God, because no soul, everybody is alive, but just that it will have a lot of damages, and over there you can see a lot of damages. But we thank God for life, because this life, we can have a lot of locks, but thank God that nobody didn't injure, nobody didn't die.
So can you tell us exactly what caused the fire?
Exactly what caused the fire, because yesterday evening time, we are just sitting nearby where we are drinking at, because it's at Iju Shaga Road, close to Toyin bus stop. So we are just sitting over there drinking. The next thing we had, just explosion. Wow, everybody was on the run. Everybody is just peak rates. So we now started asking what is happening. When we look up, my own thought is this fuel station nearby here. We couldn't know that is this gas line, the man that is selling gas here. So the man, there is a tanker discharging gas to him. All of a sudden, it's like there is a mistake somewhere else. And according to the people that is more closer before the explosion, so they say that they have a little leakage, but they tried to quench the leakage, but all of a sudden they couldn't make it. So the next thing to do, everybody like just discharge. So you understand, before the explosion, the thing exploded like 5 times. So the explosion was very mad, very massive. So everybody's on the run. Before, like 45 minutes after the explosion, before now fire service now came. Without fire service, we could have touched this fuel station and many shops. Thank God that it just, but this place we are now is the place the man that is selling the gas, because there is a lot of cylinders, and the cylinder is not all those all those big cylinder he used to go and bought in a gas line. Just here, just a shop he used to go. He have stayed here for many years. You know, in this life, what that will happen will happen. Nobody knows what will happen next. But thank God the way it is. We thank God for everything. So everything now, see, as you can see, like 5 shops and the one across, that is what that damage.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
So that's it from the man, yes?
All right. Thank you so much for bringing us that update. Well, it's a good thing that no life was lost and it didn't, you know, move to. Because I saw some residential areas just behind some of the shops. It didn't affect the residential areas. It's actually a good thing, and we do hope that for those who have actually incurred damages and lost, you know, their items and also their shops, they would actually get a recompense somehow. Thank you so much, Amalola, for joining me and, you know, updating us on this.
Thank you, Desmond.
All right, News Central now returns after this break. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, Nigerians have been urged to begin to embrace ideas of smaller family size to avoid the high rates of poverty, youth unemployment, and out-of-school children, amongst other socioeconomic upheavals currently witnessed in the country. This was during a population conversation seminar in the nation's capital, Abuja, as some stakeholders expressed concern over Nigeria's population explosion, saying that the government is not doing enough to leverage its population size for development and also to address the challenges that this has brought to the nation. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, has the report.
While population growth affects every aspect of societal development, the conversation around population growth in recent years have regrettably not gained the needed attention in Nigeria, especially as the nation's population is projected to double, reaching about 400 million persons by 2050. Some stakeholders say Nigeria has not effectively harnessed potential available through its current population size, due to a lack of information on the benefits a large population can have on citizens and national policies.
If you have this kind of population, it's supposed to be a blessing, because it means that you even have market from the economic side of it. You have market, and there's no reason for poverty. There should be reason for prosperity. There should be reason for actually growth and development at all levels. But when the number has been, put in an unproductive manner, the politicians are only interested to engage our productive young, agile youth for political violence.
While expressing worry that the nation's population has become a source of concern, they say the failure to plan effectively is taking a toll on Nigeria, thus the current hardship being faced by citizens. They are also calling on the public to help manage the nation's population growth by adopting smaller family sizes.
The poverty is everywhere. The infrastructure in the country is down. So there's no anybody that can come and tell you that, no, don't worry, go and have plenty wives that you cannot feed, plenty wives that you cannot take care of their health, plenty wealth that we cannot provide the children with education.
I would like our first policy that was anchored, that was led by late Professor Ransom Kuti. It was stated in that policy that we should not have more than 4 children, and I still stand by it. But unfortunately, people rejected it. We, Nigerians, rejected that policy. That
this really affects the women population. That is why I'm encouraging us to bring this discussion before our leaders, traditional, our religious leaders, and let them see the need to help the girl child.
Some of them expressed concerns about the high rate of out-of-school children in the country. They say these children become ready tools for miscreants, thus the need for government to provide the much-needed access to education. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
The Abia State University Visitation Panel has been inaugurated to evaluate the financial management of the institution between 2019 to 2023. Governor Alex Oti inaugurated the panel at the Banquet Hall of Government House, Umuahia. News Central's Chinwe Ugele has the report.
In December 2020, the then Governor Okezie Ikpeazu set up a visitation panel for the state-owned university to investigate its activities from 2010 to 2020, and by April of 2023, the report of that panel was submitted to the governor, who never acted on it. Now, the current governor, Alex Oti, wants to investigate the university between 2019 to 2023 without recourse to the outstanding report he inherited. The governor, during the inauguration, read out the terms of reference, which included investigating the subventions received from the state government from 2019 to 2023 and the overall management of funds that accrued to the university for the same period. He tasked the panel to conduct a thorough assessment of the institution's academic programs to ensure they meet global standards.
Is expected to meticulously study the frameworks and systems that guide and regulate the administrative processes, academic programs, and financial management within apps, with a view to determining how they stack up against globally acceptable standards and conventions in the effective management of university systems, and identifying what can be done to drive holistic improvements in the relevant areas.
In his response on behalf of the panel, the chairman, Professor Steve Okorodudu, said Governor Alex Oti has, through allocation of 20% of the 2024 budget to the education sector, come close to UNICEF's budgetary recommendation for education and called on the management and staff of the university to cooperate with the panel by volunteering relevant information to enable them do justice to the mandate given to them.
A lot of misconception about what a visitation panel means. And for those who understand it quite well, it is an opportunity for you to grow as an institution. And there is no way we are going to grow if we are not in a position to know exactly what the issues are.
In pursuant to abiding by Section 30, subsection 2 of the Abia State University law, the governor is to set up a visitation panel after every decade for the review of the institution and possible recommendations. In Umuahia for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
Filmmakers in Nigeria have called on citizens to take advantage of the potentials of a creative economy, saying that it can significantly reduce youth unemployment in the country and permanently end youth restiveness. This was during a press briefing in the nation's capital, Abuja, as part of activities for the Inside Nollywood Film Festival coming up from February 15th to 17th.
About time we rise. Content is the new oil money. I can beat my chest to tell you that. And the more we have more Nigerians getting involved, having a meeting point, a center point in their regions to participate, then indeed we have created a creative economy that will be sustainable
And I believe that is the most important thing that would happen before the government would truly step in and support the industry like we expect.
For past 10 years, inside Nollywood has been the power hub, analyzing the quality of productions, analyzing the data of premiers across Africa and Nollywood as a whole. And for past 10 years, we have been the bridge between government and practitioners.
Now, away from Nigeria, the Economic Community of West African States has unveiled plans to develop a regional resilience strategy with efficient coordination and effective early warning systems to tackle crises within the region. The Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, Mustafa Ahmed, made this known at a consultation workshop for stakeholders from the region on Tuesday in Abuja. The workshop, organized by the United Nations Development Programme in Nigeria, brought together participants from the ECOWAS member states. Ahmed said ECOWAS member states had experienced a series of disasters, crises, and conflicts that had posed threats to normal life, the means of livelihood for the people, and sustainable economic growth and development. Tensions have escalated in Senegal as authorities crack down on opposition protests while international pressure mounts on President Macky Sall to hold elections for his successor. Senegalese officials blocked a planned opposition march on Tuesday, citing concerns of potential disruptions to public order. The postponement of the February 25th vote has sparked deadly clashes, with 3 fatalities reported in recent protests. Rights groups condemned the authorities' crackdown on dissent, calling for an independent investigation into the deaths and also arrests. As Senegal grapples with political uncertainty and civil unrest, the international community watches closely, urging a swift resolution through constitutional means. Meanwhile, Dakar residents have urged for a swift resolution to the political uncertainty and civil unrest in the country. Coming up after the break, UN sounds alarm as Sudan conflict spreads to South Sudan. We'll bring you more on this when we return. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, Kenyan police have recaptured a suspect whose escape from custody made international headlines. Kevin Nyangate, held in connection with the murder of his girlfriend in the United States, was apprehended after days-long manhunt. Nairobi Police Chief Adamson Bungay confirmed Nyangate's recapture, stating that the suspect was found hiding at a relative's home on the outskirts of Nairobi. Nyangate's escape last week had embarrassed authorities, prompting a widespread search and heightened scrutiny of police procedures. His escape occurred during a meeting with his lawyer, sparking a pursuit by officers which ultimately proved unsuccessful. 4 police officers, 2 relatives, and Kenyate's lawyer were arrested in connection with the escape and remain in custody. The United Nations mission in South Sudan has warned that the conflict in Sudan has spilled over to the neighboring South Sudan. Nicholas Haysom, Special Representative of the UN Secretary for South Sudan and head of UN MISS, said there are indications that recruitment could be taking place in South Sudan by parties involved in Sudan, where young men and boys are recruited to increase their forces. He said that nearly 550,000 people have crossed into South Sudan from Sudan, and they expect that the number will continue to grow and increase stress on communities as the conflict continues. In other news, making rounds around the world, 34 people have been injured after the second floor of a packed Roman Catholic church in Bulacan province, north of Manila, collapsed on Wednesday. Gina Asen, head of the San Jose del Monte's Disaster Risk Reduction Management Office, said the accident occurred this morning as Catholics packed the church to celebrate Ash Wednesday. Asen said no one died from the accident and that 34 people suffered minor bruises and shoulder pain. Colombia's Chief Justice, Gerson Chavera, says a violent protest outside the Supreme Court's headquarters demanding the designation of a new Attorney General is an act of aggression and that the court is waiting for the safety conditions necessary to hold sessions. The Inter-American Commission on Human Rights has urged the country's top court to choose a new Attorney General amid an ongoing row between President Gustavo Petro and the last holder of the position, whom the leftist leader accused of conspiracy to oust him.
Porque evidentemente fue un hecho de agresión y de violencia contra la Corte Suprema de Justicia y contra los magistrados de la Corte Suprema de Justicia. ¿Por qué fue un acto de agresión y de violencia contra los magistrados de la Corte Suprema de Justicia? Porque la Corte fue sitiada. Las puertas de ingreso y de salida de la Corte Suprema de Justicia fueron bloqueadas. Y eso es un acto de agresión en tanto representó una afectación a la libre movilidad de los magistrados, de los empleados que se encontraban para ese día dentro de la corporación. No, la Corte lo que espera es que se den las condiciones, como lo dijimos en nuestro comunicado, para que nosotros podamos adelantar nuestra sesión de manera tranquila, de manera pacífica, de manera armónica, bajo unas condiciones que nos permitan en un estado de tranquilidad adelantar nuestro trabajo y el ejercicio de nuestras competencias electorales.
In business, in an attempt to prevent a default later in the year, Kenya has decided to pay more than 10% on a fresh international bond. Kenya felt forced to take action because it might not be able to pay a $2 billion bond payment that was due in June, even though double-digit borrowing costs are usually considered a red flag. By buying back most of that bond and issuing a new $1.5 billion note that doesn't require repayment until 2029, Kenya managed to avoid default. Although the high price of the bond, with an effective interest rate of over 10%, raised concerns, it was seen as a necessary move to overcome the liquidity challenge the country faced. And now in the world of sports, AFCON bronze medalist Bafana Bafana have received a hero's welcome upon their return home on Wednesday morning after the impressive run that ended in the semi-finals at the AFCON tournament in Ivory Coast. Thousands of supporters braved the early morning weather as they turned out in their numbers to show support to the team players who have injected new energy into South African football. Bafana defeated top-ranked Morocco 2-0 in the last 16 round, beat Cape Verde 2-1 on penalties after a goalless draw in the quarterfinals before stumbling against nemesis Nigeria in the semi-finals, losing 4-2 on penalties after a 1-1 draw after extra time.
Buya ekuruleni ward 48 ngizelana e-OR Tambo International Airport ukuzosibonga abafana bafana ukuthi babuye nebronze siyabasupporta kakhulu.
I'm here to support Bafana Bafana because every little thing we appreciate. We appreciate the bronze. We say keep it up, guys. Next time we're gonna get the goal.
Africa's #1 ranked player, Aruna Quadri, will be the focal point of the Nigerian national table tennis team when they file out at the ITT. Less than 30 days to the commencement of the 13th African Games, President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana on Tuesday, February 13th, commissioned a new sports complex constructed for the Games. In the 57 years of experience of the Games, this is the first time that Ghana will be hosting it, despite Ghana being a founding member of the African Games. The brand new Botiemen Sports Complex will host competitive sports such as table tennis, handball, tennis, volleyball, swimming, badminton, and the triathlon. Notably, 4 of these events, table tennis, triathlon, and badminton, will double as qualifiers for the 2024 Olympics Games in Paris, France. The complex boasts of a 1,000-seater swimming area, a multi-purpose sports hall capable of seating 1,000 spectators for various events such as basketball, badminton, netball, table tennis, and weightlifting. There's also a 500-seater dome for handball, volleyball, judo, karate, taekwondo, fencing, arm wrestling, as well as tennis complex with 5 courts, including a 1,000-seater center court. The 13th African Games kick off on March 8th to 23rd. Organizers are projecting 5,000 elite athletes, 3,000 officials, and thousands of fans will visit the country, together with an estimated global audience of 2.2 billion people watching through traditional and social media. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our top stories. We told you that shops and goods have been destroyed in Lagos community gas explosion. We also told you that Kenyan police have recaptured U.S. murder suspects. And finally, you heard that United Nations has warned Sudan as conflict spills to South Sudan. Send your eyewitness reports to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do you follow us on social media? We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.